Welcome back, fellow shop rats. Today, here in the shop, we're circling back around to the series on shop organization. I'm going to share some updates with you very transparently. I've not done anything in the shop to prep for this video other than putting away the tables that were right here that Matt and I worked on when we did the back window channel. This has been the condition of the shop since he left. And so I want to share with you very transparently how my organizational system and the change in thinking is working here in the shop. I'm Mike.
This is My Cars Shop.
I really enjoy spending time with you guys out here, and I'm injured right now. Can't use this arm. I pulled something in my back, and this arm is barely working, and there's a lot of pain in it. So I can't do much hands-on, but pretty selfishly wanting to spend time with you guys. So I thought, this is a great day to just come out and spend some time with you and share my thoughts, share my experience of after 4 months of applying these principles slowly in the shop, using the bite philosophy, the bite principle, one bite at a time, how it feels to come out here, how it feels to work out here. If you're new to the channel and you're new to this series, I, for the last 4 months, have been sharing pretty transparently some paradigms,
Or maybe it was a pair of nickels.
some paradigm shifts in the way that I think and the way that I approach keeping the shop organized. I am not a detailed person. I am not a hyper organized person. I'm a macro thinker. I'm a macro organizer. And there's videos on what those things mean. If you haven't seen them, go check them out if you're interested. The problem I've had is all of the organizational styles that I've been taught in my life has all been micro-based stuff, and it does not fit who I am in the least. Now, I never knew that, so I've spent a lot of my life feeling very condemned, very much like a failure, and very defeated in keeping things organized. However, but what I've been applying, what I've been learning in the last year, but what I've been applying here in the shop to look at what comes naturally and follow those simple principles rather than trying to force myself into some other way of thinking or functioning, it's working. And I want to share that with you. Like I said, I haven't put anything away since Matt was here and we did the back window channel on stitches. So what you see is what you get. The shrinker stretcher is still here. There's still a few bits and stuff on the bench here. Well, I'm going to take you around the shop and show you the various areas and talk about where we're at. The first area to start with probably here is with the bench here with the valve grinder and everything on it. My tool board is staying nice and organized for the most part. I may have one socket missing there. I'll have to look for that later. But that's why I like this board. You've heard me say it before. I can glance at it and I can tell quickly that everything is there or if something is missing. And that's the point of the tool board. I got a few extra tools there that I haven't figured out what I'm going to do with yet. They'll probably find a home in the toolbox. But this is exactly how the bench was left when Matt left. All we had on there was just the nuts from the trim for the vinyl top that we took off at the beginning of that episode. We make our way over to the machine shop area. I can see the welder needs to be put back. And oh yeah, this metal is out because I was getting some of that 19 gauge steel out from back in there. So we got to get that put away. I see a clamp isn't where it belongs. But for the most part, all the tools are here in the container that we used. There wasn't a lot, but everything is there. Nothing else is sitting around except my cold coffee. I see there's a few things I forgot to put back on the board, like these grinding discs. That's simple, easy peasy stuff. Go up there. Can't do it one-handed. But other than that, this area is in pretty good shape. And like I said, it's because we're not leaving stuff scattered around. We're just putting things in the containers. And then when the containers come to a point, we just pick that up and put stuff away. This was the project that Matt and I were working on. If you haven't seen that episode, go check it out. It should have aired by now. We're creating, it's not done yet, but well, it's done. We just got to finish it. Right, Matt? One thing you'll notice is Stitches itself doesn't have anything in it anymore. We always had the console stored in there for safety. The dash cap is just kind of sitting on there now, so that needs to find a permanent home until it gets in its permanent home. But I always had stuff stored inside the car and inside the trunk, and every time I needed to flip it up on the rotisserie, I would have to take stuff out. I don't have to do that anymore. Everything except that dash cap is gone because we have it all hung up back there on the wall. If we come over here, we have all that's on the Forsyth is the cardboard template and the actual back glass out of Stitches. And I'll put that there on purpose to keep it safe. Nothing else should get set on it. We should be good there. And we'll need that to finish that back window project. So that's a good place for that for now. Got things pretty well organized here to get working on this car again. I hope to be doing that soon and get back in there and start welding in and fabricating that inner rocker panel. But anyway, my paint booth area right now is more of a paint shelf. I haven't taken time to organize this. I don't use this back here right now as long as the Forsyth is sitting here. This bench just becomes where I bring things back. So I'm fine with that for now. But I can walk through here because of all the stuff that we took upstairs. We can get back to the cabinet back there now where we have all of our sandpaper and electrical and all gaskets and all kind of stuff. Just got to move that little masker out of the way from the paint project from the $500 paint job. But we're good. I'm happy with this area. Come over here to the toolbox. You can see for the most part, it's pretty good. A couple fender stands are kind of in the way, but I just didn't put them back yet because I'll be using those again real soon. There's almost nothing in the container here. Tools are pretty much back in the toolbox. So that's good that Matt and I used this socket rail set that didn't get snuggled back down in, but it's back in the ballpark of where it belongs. So I'm good with that. I think that's been the biggest surprise because I didn't necessarily come into this knowing that was going to be the biggest result. So again, in some ways, that's been a byproduct, just like things looking better. Now, somebody else would walk in here and say, man, your shop is an absolute mess. Actually, it's not. If you know where things are at, if you can find things pretty quickly and you're able to do the job functionally, then is it wrong? So the whole point around my car shop is make it safe, make it done, and go have fun. I think there's big things to be said about that. Now, I'm not saying this happened overnight. Of course, we've been working on it for 4 months, but actually, I started the tool board concept before I even understood any of this. This is something I've used for years. Every shop I've had, I've made a tool board. So that obviously comes natural to me, and I know it works because I've had it in every shop that I've had. It just took me a long time to get one done here. The hardest thing in a shop like this, when we are a DIY, we are fabricating, we are doing things on the extreme cheap. We don't have unlimited funds. In fact, right now we have very limited, very, very, very limited funds for doing anything. We have to make do with what we have, and there's just no money to spend on anything. So having resources, having a warehouse like I have up here, over here in the back room of stuff that I can draw from to do these projects means you've got a lot of crap. Some people would say, eliminate all of that crap and just go buy what you need. That's fine. That's totally fine if that works for you. That does not work for me at all. I have to have the resource library to do the jobs the way that I do the jobs. I've always believed myself to be a messy person, and I'm coming to realize that I'm not. I've just never found something that works. I'm not saying that this system that I'm following is going to work for you. That's not the point of this. I'm scolding you. Didn't mean to. Sorry about that. This is what's working for me. My whole point in sharing this organizational stuff is to get you thinking differently. Look at what comes natural to you. That may not be how you're trying to force yourself. Look at what you can do to eliminate the trash, put away the simple stuff, and then work on the bigger picture stuff as you can. Maybe containers, maybe not. Maybe you don't like a tool board. Maybe you want everything in a toolbox. But if you're one of those people who believes that everything should be in the toolbox and everything should be in its place, yada, 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 like I believed for decades, and your place is constantly a mess, maybe you need to revisit that and think, maybe while I recognize that's the way ultimately things should be, that may not be the way that I function. I don't want this series to be a discouragement for you. In fact, just the opposite. I want this series to be empowering for you to say, yes, we can do this. I just need to start thinking differently. Take time to observe yourself. Take time to see what you naturally do with things and how your clutter starts to appear around the shop. And that's the biggest key to helping you find a way to get organized. All right, that's going to do it for this one. I'm sorry I couldn't do a hands-on today, but like I said, I got a broken wing today, and I was going to try to force myself to do something, and I thought, um, I need to just chill out, spend the day with you guys, and circle around here in episode 6 on organization. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate every one of you. And don't forget, rock!